Hello and welcome to this Mobalytics video, and in this one I shall be taking a look at 5 tips and tricks that you can use while playing Rengar so that you can further your quest to dominate. Rengar is often considered a harder to play champion and does take a lot of time to learn and master, but hopefully some of the refined techniques in this video can assist in that process. And as always, let us know in the comments what champion you might want to see next. But without any further hesitation, let's begin. Now for this one, I didn't want to start off with anything too spicy as I need your full attention throughout the video. And while you're seeing a rundown of common bush jump locations that you should know and would recognize from my guide, the one I didn't go in depth on in that video is the blue bush ferocity trick. Everyone should know at this point that when Rengar sets a red buff, as he commonly does, a simple bush leap and Q on the plant behind the red buff gives him 2 stacks, so once the red buff begins you can be further along your way to that empowered Q. However, you can actually accomplish the same thing on blue buff. You can get 2 ferocity stacks before clearing it simply by exiting the bush very closely. You begin the auto attack animation as you're going to hit it, but before you gingerly connect with this blasting cone in an intimate way, press S and this will cancel the animation. Once you've done that, walk to the other side of the blast cone, Q it to death, and now you have 2 stacks and you are primed for a blue buff start. Obviously this isn't always necessary and you do want to start the red buff, however due to matchup, invades or something else happening that shocks your morning routine, perhaps you just want to do it on blue buff for no reason, this can be useful. As a final note, remember to click right before the wall when you want to do some of those longer jumps. Maybe you're trying to steal a blue buff and you have enough movement speed. Once Rengar is in motion towards the wall, you can click on the blue buff and it will complete your jump and you will land safely. But with some entry-level things out of the way, let's talk about the early game burst combo and the sustained damage combos. Once you've done your first clear, use some ferocity tricks, maybe you've bought a Tiamat, and now you want to impose your damage, your will, on the map. Simply put, this combo is great when you're sitting in a bush, setting a trap, waiting for some unsuspecting prey, and as soon as they arrive, you focus yourself, take a deep breath, you press Q, you leap towards them, and then during the leap, you use your E, then W, Tiamat, and then when you land, you use that empowered Q to finish them off. All of this in a very small time frame, so practice will make perfect, but this is basically your fundamental combo. When you have 0 ferocity stacks and you probe with your ult in late game, maybe you're going for that lane gank at level 6, this is exactly the same kind of thing that you're getting. You'll see some one-shot highlights now from the better Rengars in the world, but sometimes raw burst isn't always what you want. Yes, Conqueror can stack almost instantly when you start doing this very well, and yes, Electrocute gives you more single target damage, especially in that early phase. The thing is, not everyone will die from it, and as such, when you have a less squishy target or someone that also has Conqueror, and you might be engaged in a fight over time, you just want to save your spells a little bit more. You want to focus on weaving in those auto attacks with your Q reset and your Tiamat reset. So for this, you will leap, Q, EW, auto attack, Q again, use your Tiamat, and then auto attack again. And of course, you will have the increased attack speed from the empowered Q that you just used, and at the same time, you can also save your W a little bit if the enemy has their own significant damage in order to make sure you heal some of that back. For example, this is very good against their Rek'Sai because once you heal back, their E will not do as much damage and won't even reach the true damage threshold. Once you then hit them with the rest of the combo and auto attacks, your Conqueror is healing, Conqueror is doing damage, and you just end up winning out. So it's good to know when exactly to save your spells and when just to go all in one-shot combo. Now, one of Rengar's biggest complaints is that his early ganks aren't exactly as potent as certain other meta's champions, who we shall not name because they are deplorable and we want to destroy them, but Rengar does do a good job of invading and making their life very difficult. However, some are more slippery than others, and as you can see, a simple flash then E is quite slow animation-wise. So while lane ganks are the order of the day, if you should find yourself in a bone tooth stacking situation, know that you can very easily E flash combo. This simply means if you have full ferocity and you are ready to use a hard Ebola, you press E and then flash immediately afterwards in order to surprise stun the enemy. This is very similar to the flash W Kha'Zix mechanic from the previous video. It's very useful against those slippery targets and also to guarantee the element of surprise. You can also use it when you jump to a minion from a bush, E flash immediately, and you can stun anything in basically no time. As you can see, it's much faster in terms of the animation, and you can actually do it with a regular E, it just obviously won't be rooting, but if you need to get that slowdown and buy enough time to finish them off with a Q or something else, then you can also do so. Now for our 4th tip, I want to talk about top lane bush jumping, but in theory you can actually use this under any situation. The thing is, not all Rengar mains do jungle. In fact, in Korea, he's still vastly more popular as a top laner and has a very good win rate on the current patches of Season 10. As such, a good trick to know is that when you are top lane and you have multiple enemies in multiple bushes, you can take your regular jumps, which are somewhat slow, but still quite decent as you can see, but you can actually use your Q auto attack reset to speed up that jumping process. You use a simple regular jump on the first target, you can then Q to the second target, and if you have full stacks at this point with an empowered Q, you can use that on yet another target for an even quicker bush jump. So in theory, you could actually segue quite a few quick bush jumps together, and that can be really useful when you have top lane matchups, ganks, jungle skirmishes, teamfights, and of course just simply being annoying. Now hopefully so far that's been quite useful, but we must refine down the triple Q because I'm just not seeing it enough in the Rengars that I've been scouting, coaching, and watching VODs of. Now the classic triple Q combo has been tamed since the early days of Rengar's reign, but it's still a core feature to making sure ADCs understand their place at the bottom of the food chain. Ensuring you have stacked ferocity is core because if you don't, you can't do this. Hit some friendly chickens, get 4 stacks. If you're probing, make sure to hit plants or any vision or wards that you see to keep yourself in combat. Activate your ultimate, begin the hunt, and when you see a target you want to annihilate, a lonely Soraka, a friendly ADC, an ignorant enemy jungler, press your empowered Q before you jump. As you then commit to your jump by right-clicking, use your E before you land, W, Tiamat, use a Q, and then use your empowered Q again. Obviously, some write that W, Tiamat, and Q in a different order, but the whole goal is that you start with an empowered Q and you end with an empowered Q. Here it is in action with actually good Rengar plays again, and as you can see, the damage is quite spectacular, and no good Rengar doesn't include it in their gameplay. Now to close this video, you will see some highlights of some other Rengar plays that he can make when he's executed properly. As a final tip, never use Mecha Rengar. The Q animation is from the AoE version, and it feels very clunky. It basically feels like I'm playing at 500 ping. If you use this, you are not a serious Rengar main. The animation smoothness in Rengar's skins is fundamental to MMR gains. This is proven by science. You know, maybe. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to never play Kha'Zix. I hope this guide plus a guide on my channel gives you all the great information you need to play Rengar in Season 10. Please remember to like, share, and comment on this video if you did enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to Mobalytics for all the excellent videos coming your way very soon. I have been your host Virakayu, and as always, I will see you all in the next video.